So I completely disagree with all of you. Um,
I knew,
There
I
we
knew
go.
you'd say that, Rob.
right. I've seen them 5 times.
I give you my number two, and I think this band are dirt.
And like, did you hear the new U2? I'm like, yeah, it's shite.
I don't want to be insulting to anyone, but like you have a terrible taste in music. Try and improve your taste because your taste is not good.
Then fighting words.
Yeah, fight. But
Here we go.
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I was like, no, they're going to go fucking mental if I put
No,
it.
no, 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 no problem. Just going mental off. He's going.
Welcome back to Wall Again, where passion meets music. And we had so much fun on our last video that we decided to do another. So we have Marcus, Gavin, and Eric back. And this time we're talking about something a bit different. We're talking about our most overrated bands, our top three, in our opinion. And there's no doubt this is going to be controversial. We haven't shared any of the bands, so there's going to be a few surprises here tonight, I think. We'll dive in with Marcus first, maybe. You give us your number three most overrated band of all time, Marcus.
Um, my number three is Kings of Leon. Now, I love the first three albums. I thought they were great. I thought they were going in a direction that this could be just something special. Certainly after the first album. It softened a little bit in album two and three, but they still kind of had something there. And I thought, okay, all the sides on number four, are they going to go all in with what they've this what they had at the start, and or are they just going to go pop? And they went pop, and it has been a disaster ever since, as far as I'm concerned. I think they just bought into the success, and they had. It's hard to say they had something original because everything they're doing is a regurgitation of something in the past. But if at the time it came out, it was certainly original. Nobody else was kind of coming out with that, even down to the style he sang in and everything. But he changed all that. And yeah, I just think it's gone downhill. And I've seen them live a few times, and that doesn't really make it any better. So
Yeah.
yeah, number three is Kings of Leon.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think they're a very overrated band.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was at the first show in Madison Square Garden.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They didn't blow me away, but yeah, I was a fan when I was younger, and I agree 100%. I actually like some of the tracks off that. Is that the Come Around Sundown or whatever it's called? Is that the one that was that the fourth one? Or was that after it?
I think I'm not actually sure.
Yeah,
It's only
it
Cause
the
was.
of the
first three I'm
times.
interested in.
Yeah,
Cause of the times, I think is it wasn't that their third album, and then come around
Yeah.
sundown.
Come Around Sundown. I was very poppy, but there was a couple I liked on it. But I do agree. Yeah, they definitely are overrated. I can still go into the.
And unfortunately, you could go see them live and listen to the record, and there's not much of a difference. There's
Yeah,
no,
no
there's,
improv.
they don't really give you anything live,
Yeah.
they probably use a lot of backing tracks live, I'd say. Their
Yeah,
music is very overproduced. Certainly the last few albums are very overproduced. So
yeah.
Yeah,
good
yeah. Probably
start.
have to agree with Marcus. They are a bit overrated.
Yeah. All right, it's me. I'm gonna go with number three, Green Day.
No.
Ooh, then fighting words.
Yeah, fight. But
Here we go.
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I loved Green Day. First two albums, Nimrod, wasn't it? And what was the other one called? The second one,
Ducky.
Ducky. Brilliant.
Dookie, Warning, Insomniac.
Yeah.
So many good albums there. Yeah.
There was. I just felt it was recycled stuff a lot of the way, and then when it came to like American Idiot and that, I was done. I was like, this was pop commercial rubbish for me. Not rubbish, that's harsh. It just wasn't inspiring. It wasn't, oh yeah, another, oh yeah, I love this American Idiot song. No, I think it's pop dirt. I've seen them live probably three times, four times, maybe. Maybe the first time I seen them, it might have been Oxygen or something. And I know festival is kind of a little bit different, but I did see them on their own. I think in America somewhere. And like Kings of Leon, for me, yeah, there was a bit more from what do you call him, the lead singer?
Billy
Billy
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, like he does give you a wee bit, but just maybe it's just me. I just it didn't do it for me. I do. They're not a bad band. Now hear me out. They're not a bad band, but for what they get, how they get spoken about in the media, and how they're always in these top tens and top twenties, I do. For me, I don't get it. I think they're just above average.
Yeah. Like I can see what you're saying. I'm not a fan of punk rock music generally. But I thought they had something different in terms of vocally, I think Billy Joe was a fantastic vocalist. And I think that kind of set them apart from a lot of the other maybe punk bands in the 1990s. Um and they definitely know how to write a hit. And as you say, a pop song, like yeah, there's no denying that their songs are catchy. Um, but I think they get a lot of flack, and like there'd be a lot of people will agree with you, Gavin. You
Mm.
know, on this channel, I'm sure.
Look at that. That's it.
Um,
Like there's people that some people love, some people hate, and
yeah,
I don't.
they will get flack, like, but I think they're brilliant. Like I think that American Idiot album is it's an absolute masterpiece. I think it's a rock opera. I think if you look at the vocals, it's a concept album, and it's also talking a lot about the political situation in the States at the time. And the way that album was constructed. Look, I disagree with you, but I know where you're coming from.
You know, I think it's so commercial though, and so correct, and so like opposite of
You
I don't.
wouldn't. I tell you, if Green Day wrote that album now, it wouldn't be the record label wouldn't put it out. You know.
Yeah. Like I
So
mean, I get what you're saying, and it like I love Green Day, unfortunately, but you know, Sex
But it's not
Pistols and all,
unfortunately,
it's completely against the establishment, and they're
I know that.
very
Yeah, but
popular. I get that from a punk perspective.
done so
I don't
many
see
times
Green
though.
Day. I don't see Green Day as a punk band anymore. I see them more as just like a pop rock band or something, like a teeny bopper band or something.
Yeah,
But I love Green Day. I love them. I think they're brilliant.
they still fight the system, though. To be fair to them, they
Yeah,
are very much up for equality and human rights, and they
yeah.
are anti-establishment as you can be as a corporate rock band that are selling out stadiums. But
What what was that show where they tried to cut them off and he's smashing guitars and all that? I just thought it was so fake. What was
like
that show? It was only like a year or two ago, and he's like, "Do you know who I am? We don't play." I was like, "Get off the stage."
okay, fair enough. They're number three. No bother. We'll keep going. Right, Eric,
First,
is
the
yours
first
number three?
nerve.
right. I'll give you mine. And this is just a band that I don't know. They just annoy me. They've all the hits, but I just when they come on the radio, I turn them off. It's REM. They just do my head
Oh,
in.
can't believe
I
it.
Yeah. I just like I saw them at auction years ago, but lately I just can't listen to them. I'm a big fan of like Radio Nova. I'm always tuning in,
Yeah,
listening. But every time there's an REM song at least every 20 minutes or 30 minutes on Radio Nova, so I have to change station every couple of minutes. But they just I don't know what it is. They just their songs are just so I don't know. They put you in a bad mood or something. And they're all real whiny and stuff. And I like I just think they're just ridiculous. That's just my opinion though. I'm not a fan of REM.
yeah. Look, they certainly they had a style there. They were kind of leaning on the whole kind of jangly guitar, Rickenbacker kind of style, kind of like a bit like Tom Petty meets the Beach Boys or something. But then they have this whole like, as you were saying, like dark kind of right. Some people call it whiny.
Melancholic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I grew up in the '90s, so REM were everywhere. What year did they headline Slane? Was it '95?
Don't know, I wasn't at
Yeah,
it.
you probably
I
weren't
wasn't in
born.
that day.
We saw
Uh,
them we saw them at Oxygen.
yeah,
I was pissed, but
but
like
like Marcus will tell you that them headlining Slane was the biggest thing in the world. Like they were
Oh, they were
huge.
huge.
They were
Yeah, they
huge in
were
the '90s,
huge.
and they were huge in Ireland. I loved them. I've most of their albums. I think they're brilliant. I think they are they overrated. They probably are a bit overrated.
Oh yeah,
Like, yeah,
they're way overrated.
I'm
they
with you
probably
there.
are, but I still love them. As a '90s child, them guys and Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana, like that was all the stuff that was
Ah, they weren't in the same league.
current.
I wouldn't put them in the same bracket as those two.
Jesus, no.
Really?
Oh
No
no,
way.
no,
No
no.
way. They're not even the
Yeah.
same house.
I'd
No.
Yeah.
say I'd say they have two songs. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's within my take.
I'm on my own on this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for a load of stick now. So here's my number three, right? And I hope you all say you're big fans of this band. Okay. So my number three of my most overrated bands is a band called the 1975.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't
so
know much of this stuff.
they're a current band, right? They're a current rock band, and that gets me straight away because I listen to a lot of their stuff over like today. I was actually in the car today and I was listening to a good bit of their stuff, and it's not rock. Like I don't know what you call it. The vocalist Matt Healy, I think his name is. He's very annoying. He just seems to be picking fights with people like Noel Gallagher and James Hetfield just purely to get some sort of media attention.
Honestly,
Um,
James Hetfield, yeah.
yeah, like that's like I know Oasis did that back in the day, but the thing about Oasis was you turn on an Oasis record and there's guitars everywhere and guitar solos and they're a proper rock band and they wear like from Manchester, but the 1975 to me they're trying to be like the new Oasis, but they're falling flat because if you actually listen to their music, it's the vocalist Matt Healy, it's his voice, there's no doubt about that, and it's auto-tuned to correct it all. Like you can hear that, right? But the music in the background is all like you could hear it on a Taylor Swift track or on a Beyonce track. Like it's pop music made on a laptop. Like, don't be kidding anyone that this is like a rock band sitting down figuring out a song. As we were at the weekend, lads. This is this is not the case. Like, this is not a band. So, but this is people see, that people hear with their eyes. They look up on stage, they see guys with, kind of longish hair, bit of stubble, and they're holding guitars and they're just assuming that this is like rock music and that the 1975 are like the biggest rock band in the world. But I'm not buying it. I think their music's rubbish. I think they're completely overrated. And I wish all that crap would just leave and we could just get back to like proper guitars and proper music and forget all this nonsense that's in the charts at the moment. So there you go. Anyone want to challenge me? Does anyone like the 1975?
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
Not much to say
Yeah,
there, man.
can't complain on that one.
I think
Fair enough.
little rich boys with money and daddy's getting them into the studio and producing this dirt. And
Yeah.
that's what's happening everywhere. So, yeah. You win that one, Rob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're all right there, Rob.
For now. Right, Marcus, number two.
My number two, what was it? Oh, yeah. My number two is Coldplay.
Yep.
I just can't get my head around the popularity of Coldplay. It's like, what in the name of Jesus is going on? Um, Again, I would say in the first two albums, there's about three songs between the first two albums that I would like. After that is like, just everybody stop. You know, stop looking at social media and deciding what band you like by the way they look. I just don't get it. I think they're completely overrated. And I do think Chris Martin can write a song. I think he's a full-on musician. He's quite a creative guy, but oh God, I just think they're pony. And I remember, where did I see this or heard this? Chris Martin was saying he was out having dinner before the Dublin gig in Croke Park, and some girl was coming over to the guitarist or something like that. He was saying it on the stage, and she didn't know who he was, and saying, "Oh, you up for to see Coldplay and all that?" And she kept coming back and forward a couple of times. She did a couple of drinks on her, and she kept coming back and forward a couple of times. She never realized it was the guitarist from Coldplay, and therein lies my argument. Because like nobody knows really who they are other than Chris Martin, and I just no, I don't get it. I don't understand how they sold out three Crow Parks. I just can't understand it. It's not good music.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a, not going to say a circus act, but it's more of a production than music.
Yeah.
All the wristbands and all that. I really think that the music is probably only like 50 or 60% the way people go. It's just for a night out. And it's like the cool thing to do. No, I
Yeah.
agree 100%. Yeah. Like, yeah, I agree as well. Like, he is a gifted musician, like on the piano and that. He's fabulous. I've seen some stuff, but I couldn't have said it better. Like, how can they sell out Croke Park 3 nights?
Just don't understand.
Madness. Madness.
Yeah.
Personally, I love their early stuff, like the first two or three albums. I thought they were a decent indie rock band back then,
Yeah,
but
yeah, they weren't bad.
like
They weren't
I,
bad.
I can't stand their new stuff, like the chart stuff. Like it's kind of dance. I don't know what you call it, but I'm not.
Instagram friendly.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not into their new stuff to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, he's ready. Now, before I say this, this is I'm just gonna say it, you two.
Whoa, fighting words.
Okay, hear me out. Okay, are you two a bad band like Green Day? No. They're very good. They're very good at what they do. I think some of the first two, three albums for me would for my taste in music were decent. But for how they can go around the world, every couple of years and sell out stadiums all over Australia or New Zealand and fucking Japan and America, and I don't get it. I don't get it. I think like kind of like Coldplay, it's like they're playing that, especially in America, like the Irish American, like, playing, oh, come and be Irish with me, buy a ticket and we'll all have a big party. And Bono's a, you know what he is. And yeah, preaching, and the music is not that good for me. And I know people are going to be like, you're crazy. But like some of the stuff, like even like the Edges stuff, yeah, some of it was good, but some of it's just repeated stuff for me. It doesn't blow me away. Like I just don't get the overhype of them. I don't think they deserve. I just don't know how they're still relevant, to be honest. And I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for that, but I've always, since I was a young fella, REM on the radio, you too. Good luck. Can't listen to you.
Yeah. Is it an Irish thing? Like,
No, it's not.
because they're Irish, you really
No,
secretly want to see them do bad.
no, 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 definitely not. It's just doesn't do. It's vanilla for me or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like with yours, the style of music you listen to and love,
No,
it
but
being like metal
I
and blues and that, I can understand how they're not an edgy band. Like,
no, but like I listen to pop stuff. I listen to everything. I listen
yeah.
to hip hop, reggae. I will listen to commercial stuff. I will like Kings of Leon, all that stuff. I love Foo Fighters, all that kind of. But you two just like some of it, like the sweetest thing. I remember that when that came out. I'm like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
The video. And like, did you hear the new U2? I'm like, yeah, it's shite.
Yeah, that wasn't a great song. I
And the,
think their later albums sound very like Coldplay. Like they bring in like DJs and
yeah.
this type of producers, and there's like 16 songwriters in each song. They have done that in the last few albums.
And
But
again, I just want to say, I'm not saying you two are a bad band. They're a
yeah.
decent band. I'm just saying the overhype and the overratedness, if that's even a word, of the band right now.
Oh, now I think they're probably overrated. But I look back to albums like The Unforgettable Fire, The Joshua Tree, Acton
Joshua
Baby,
Tree was brilliant.
even All That You Can't Leave Behind. Like, to me, they're just like
You can't live with
classic
an album that
albums.
will sell out 80,000 seats. I don't get that. Or two albums.
Yeah.
I think you have your reasons. I disagree with that one as well. Personally, I think they're a brilliant band. I think they're fantastic songwriters, and I've had the luxury of seeing them a few times live, and they are excellent. Like I think seeing them live made me more of a fan than I would have. I've never would have went out and bought their albums. So maybe that's what and probably same with Coldplay. That's probably what we're missing is is an experience just to kind of catch the band and see what they're like. Because they are decent musicians. Like when they're playing on stage, they rock. Like they really do rock it, you know. Particularly some of the footage I saw from the Las Vegas fair, like that's just groundbreaking. Like the visuals and all belong to music. But look, they're not the only band that do that. You know, I understand that, and you're entitled to that opinion. You know, so
One thing I
respect
will
it.
say about the Sphere, I thought like because obviously the visual production was like immense. I thought they were going to produce the hell out of the sound for that those gigs. They actually didn't. I saw a couple of videos and they really didn't overdo the sound. It sounds raw, and that's a great thing. Like because I think a lot of U2's songs are actually like they sound great acoustic or they sound great raw. You don't need all the effects, and I appreciate what you're saying, Gavin. Like the Edge, like he'll play things and he's using a lot of delay and a lot of effects to get a certain sound. I completely understand that.
And you
Um,
hear them do it so many times.
it's his thing at this point. Now he is a genius. I don't get me wrong. It would be my favorite style of guitar playing to listen to. But no, I do like U2, and I've gone from loving U2 when I was younger to hating them in my 20s. And I've come back again now as I've gone into my 40s, actually loving them again. So who knows? I might hate them again. But Eric, do you want to give us your number two?
I give you my number two, and I think this band are dirt. It's a band called the Libertines. I just never got them. I
Yeah,
just don't like them. I like some bands from that era, but I think their music's just crap. I'm sorry to anybody who's a fan out there. I don't mean to offend you. I just listen to it and I don't hear what they're trying to do. People are saying that your man Pete Doherty is a he's a legend. He's an amazing songwriter, and he's popped up recently. You know, I think he's trying to reform and kind of get back out there. But I just don't get their songs. I really don't. Like the musical depth of it is just it just doesn't do anything for me. Like I love some of the bands that came from like that London scene or from Camden, you know, around that, and some of them are brilliant. You know, Coldplay, they came from that scene, like you know what I mean, and they're just chalk and cheese. Just that band never stood out to me. I couldn't tell you any of their hits off the top of my head because they're just vanilla to me. So yeah, Libertines.
Yeah,
yeah.
good choice.
I
Very
agree. They're
fair.
definitely overrated. Definitely
Yeah,
overrated.
I agree with you as well.
Okay, number two for me. Right, this are a band that epitomize something I really disliked in the mid 2000s. So, do you remember there was Oxygen? Like that was the big music festival. And to be fair to Oxygen, they used to get rock bands, the Queens of the Stone Age, Foo Fighters, Rage Against the Machine, Green Day. They had rock bands in there, and and even towards the end, you'd still get like the Manics and the Stereophonics and Feeder, Kasabian. You still got rock bands playing Oxygen towards the end. But then there was the alternative festival, which was Electric Picnic, and that kind
Yeah.
of popped up. Was it mid 2000s or something? It popped up, and it was all the hipster, trendy crowd. And it was cool to go to Electric Picnic, but I never saw the allure of Electric Picnic. And then there was a band that epitomized that whole hipster movement and that whole culture and middle class Ireland and all of that time, and it was Arcade Fire, and I never got them. I was like, this is just overhyped, overrated crap.
Uh,
Never got them at all.
you've upset me, Rob. You've upset
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I
You're
don't
hurting
care.
Eric.
I don't care.
I love Arcade Fire.
Well, tell me what's so good about them because I am not
They're
getting this.
just
I am not getting
I
this.
do you know, man. You have to see them to get them. That's the
I
only
think I
thing.
saw them.
That's the only thing I'll say. They
I
are
think
brilliant. They are a brilliant band.
did they play
Um,
Oxygen one year.
they played Auction 3 or 4 times. Yeah,
I definitely saw them. Now, whether I was that interested or not is a different story. But
yeah. No,
um,
they really are a brilliant band. You got to give them another listen.
I have, man. I've
I've seen
tried.
them. I've seen them recently there in Malahide,
Hmm,
and I think it was like last year. Amazing gig. Probably one of the best gigs out last year.
really?
Seriously, man. I know what you're saying. They're very alternative. They're very indie. They do have a hipster kind of following.
It's
I do
folky,
agree.
kind of a folky vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like I mean, their famous album Funeral. Like every one of them, they all play different instruments on the album, and
Yeah,
that's
there's
what they're
like
doing
eight
on
or nine
stage. They're
members.
all there's 8 or 9 of them. They're all swapping around the instruments. They're all doing different things. I think they're brilliant, man. But I'm not gonna argue with you.
Oh
Same
no.
same reason why you like, even what Gav said, like you might not like U2 or Green Day. I love them bands.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
fine. I respect your decision. I like that. I like the band. I think they're brilliant.
you love them anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
Um.
I do love them.
Yeah.
Did you see
Look.
them playing on the SNL there a couple of months ago? They played on the was it the 50th anniversary of SNL? They played on. I
Yeah.
watched that. They were pretty cool, yeah. Um, yeah, I've seen them. What's the most famous song?
Oh, uh,
I'm not going to attempt to sing it.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
that
Go
one?
on, give it a go.
Soft funeral. Soft funeral.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Tunnel is number 12.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah.
decent.
Keep the car
Sorry.
running. That's another good one.
Yeah.
You're a fan as well, Marcus, are
Where
you?
no cars go. That's a great song.
They're definitely.
I'm a fan of the first album. And I went to see them on the first album, and it was fantastic.
Were
But
you
I've
not?
never felt
Were you at
no,
the
they,
picnic?
no, it was it in Phoenix Park? I think it might have been in Phoenix Park, in a tent in Phoenix Park.
Nah,
But I
they
never
played
had the want
they
to
played
to listen to
Oxygen
them
a
more.
few times. They played Oxygen a few times, and they headlined one year as well because their popularity got so big. Like,
Oh, they were
um,
huge in Ireland.
they're huge. Yeah, they're
They
huge.
were
I
like,
mean, they use all their songs in RTE and all for all the different
Yeah,
segments,
they
and
do. Yeah, yeah.
they use a lot of their music. Like,
oh yeah, sure. Everyone in
They,
RTE is from D4, like went
yeah,
to
yeah.
yeah,
You're
point
adding
went
to
point taken.
Rob's argument there by
went to
saying that.
UCD, spent their summers at Electric Picnic, and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No, look, I'll be facetious there, but that was just how I always felt as someone who was into rock music, and then this was the rubbish that was like headlining festivals, and you had these people who hadn't a clue about music, and that was their favorite band, and I was like, what is the
Oh,
world
yeah, I
coming to?
thought you were going to say Codaline or someone like that, one of them Irish bands, but like, you can't really rate them. They play there every year. I'm like, why are they even there?
Did they have a hit on some TV show?
A lamppost, maybe. I don't know. I'm like aiming Dunphy here. I have to stop this. Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is good. This is what people like to see.
No, I'm not even trying to pretend, but anyway, keep going. Who's next?
that's me, is it?
Yeah.
I know for a fact I'm going to offend one of yous. So think of your favorite band, and I'm one of your favorite bands, what it is, and I'm definitely going to say it. So my band, I think, is the biggest load of overhyped crap. Is Oasis.
I actually agree with you on that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I had Oasis and I changed it last second. I'm like, no.
I have Oasis number one as well.
I was like, no, they're gonna go fucking mental if I put it.
No, 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 no problem with just going mental off. He's going.
Oh, Marcus, this is your pick. I'm gonna stay quiet.
Oasis. The first two albums, yeah. A mate of mine was really big into the first album. I couldn't get it, and I really tried because he was really into them, even to the point of he started wearing the uniform like all their bloody fans do, of they have the hair and the jacket, and it's like Christ. So no original thought there whatsoever by the fans. And then the second album came out. Now the second album I thought was good for a pop album because it had about 4 or 5 good singles on it. But that was it. And then they tried to build up this. Now, it was genius by the management to build up this thing with Blur.
Yeah.
Blur, like, Oasis had one style of music and that was it, right? That's all they had, which they stole off everybody else. But then again, everybody steals off everybody. But Blur played loads of different types of music. They weren't even in the same race. I don't even know why they were compared to them. It's only because one was the south of England and the other one was northern England. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not a massive Blur fan either, but like they just weren't in the same race, and they were just
Oasis are
crap.
Blur.
Yeah.
Oh, they were just they had nothing, and then the fans just didn't make you want to be into them either because they just either if you said anything about them to get all very caught up in it, and Liam is an absolute god, and it's like, oh, for Christ's sake. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Noel for an interview. I think he's great. Like he really mixes it up because he's no problem saying how he feels. And I don't imagine Noel looks at upon himself in any great light as to what his abilities is. He knows exactly what he is, and he's no problem with that. and that's refreshing and all, but they're not that great whatsoever. There's nothing new about them, and they're hype. I just don't get the hype. And then this thing that they're playing in Crow Park. This is obviously sponsored by Crow Park, this episode, but they're playing in Crow Park, and everybody's like stepping on their mother to try and get a ticket, which is like ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously, like,
Yeah.
what's the story there? Like, they're not that great,
Story, morning glory.
and all the fans, all they really, really, really want to do is to go to Crow Park
Take a
so that they can
picture.
get absolutely blotto and act like a wanker
And take
because they're there in front of their hero.
yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, it's another fucking Instagram fucking thing to post. Oh, I'm at Oasis. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better, Marcus. I wish I had the cojones to keep them in my list, but I did take because I thought I was going to start World War III. But no, fair play to you. Yeah, they are
They're a chav band.
they're bang average. And Liam's a tosser, and Noel is decent. Yeah, like like you just said, he'd say, "Yeah, I'm an average enough guitarist." His songwriting, some of it was decent, some of it was muck. I did see him I seen him in America with the High Flying Boards, and I thought it was a great show. I have to say, I thought it was very, very good. But yeah, the hype. I remember like Oasis is announced they're playing Crow Park. It's like, yeah, and what? The tickets are 300 or 400. I'm like, you buy them? Yeah, I'm going. I'm like, mad.
Gavin, you do a very bad taking off of me there.
No, no, no. Actually, my neighbor. It's actually my neighbor here, and he's like, "Do you want me to get you one? I'm in. I can get another one." I'm like, "You're grand. I'm not paying 400 to see them."
Yeah.
I think I got to see one of the last shows. It was in Madison Square Garden. And okay, they were killing each other, or whatever. And like Liam was here, and Noel was there, and I thought it was one of the worst shows I've ever seen live. It was so boring, so boring.
I have to agree. I'll throw my piece into
Yeah,
this. I was gonna throw Oasis on as my number one, but I won't be fair to repeat. So I have them as my number one. Because I agree with everything you just said there. They're a vanilla band. We saw them at Slane a couple of years ago. And it was just boring as fuck. You know, sorry, you can blur that word out.
yeah,
Uh, but it was just a crap gig, and the crowd at it were no better.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we actually managed to pick up 2 tickets for Crow Park, and I sold them there like 2 weeks ago for like 600 quid, and I've money now to go to whatever gig I want. You know, so I'm kind of happy. You know, but
Yeah,
yeah, to be honest, I don't know why I bought the tickets. It's probably just the hype train, but kind
yeah.
of realizing that I don't really like this band. Like, why do I want to go see them and be stuck in an arena full of tossers? Like, you know.
But
Yeah.
do you still? I know I do. Like if I'm out with my friends or something, and some of them are like Marcus, you just said, like they're like when you say things like we just said, they're like looking at you like you have 10 heads. You're like, what do you mean you don't like them? I'm like, they're not that good. Oh, Oasis. I'm like, yeah. But like I feel like they're brainwashed or something, and they're like
I
afraid to
know.
say, no, no, you're crazy. You know, Oasis are deadly. I'm like, Jesus, man, you need to buy some more CDs. Fuck me,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. But
So I completely disagree with all of you.
There
I
we
knew
go.
you'd say that, Rob.
Right. I've seen them 5 times. I've seen Noel Gallagher and his high flying board 3 times. Seen BDI once. I'm kind of quoting a joke that was going around about the Crow Park gigs. I have to say, right, in the 1990s, mid 1990s, they were the biggest thing since, sliced bread. They were absolutely huge in Ireland, and that definitely maybe came out, and like that got a lot of attention and stuff. And I suppose at the time there wasn't a lot of guitar music in the charts in Ireland and the UK at the time, as you'll remember, Marcus. I know there was the American
Yeah.
bands and stuff, but there was no one playing guitars in bands. Like Spice Girls and all that crap was kicking off. Take That, this was, the charts were crap, and
Yeah.
Oasis came out with they were loud, they were obnoxious, they were in your face, they
They were
played
a
loud
good band.
guitars, they didn't try to be something that they
what?
weren't. They were just completely, they used to wear Man City jerseys and Umbro tracksuits on stage. Like, it was just totally refreshing. And then they released that What's the Story, Morning Glory, and I think number ones and loads of hits on it. And they were just, I thought they were great at the time when they came out. Now, I have to agree with you that their fans, that they attracted a certain type of fan base that can turn people off. I totally get that. And then, yeah, in terms of after their 90s spell, Marcus, yeah, their music, they like Standing on the Shoulders of Giants is terrible, and everything in the 2000s was really bad. But I thought the master plan, What's the Story, definitely, maybe, and then Some Would Be Here Now, I thought was very good. And like, I'm not like overhyping them. I think they are overrated, right? I'll give you that. They are overrated because people are like,
Yes.
people are putting them up there with Led Zeppelin, and they are not Led Zeppelin. Okay, so sorry, Gav. People put them up there with Metallica, and they are not Metallica, right? So
Just
they're not, like, they're just not. Liam as a vocalist is limited.
Shouts.
He had a kind of a thing, like, I could take or leave Liam as a vocalist personally, okay, but he had this kind of a thing. What's that word you said, Eric? Shav or something? He had that kind of a thing about him where he was a style of singing that was unique. Not necessarily, like, some people hate Billy Corgan's voice, some people hate Michael Stipe's voice. A lot, like Liam Gallagher is in that bracket. It's a little bit, his voice is like Marmite, you love it or you hate it. And I'm not particularly, I don't think it's particularly great, but Noel's songwriting, his lyrics, his choice of chords, he's not the best guitar player in the world, he'll be the first one to admit that, but
Yeah.
like, he throws in so many dominant sevens and everything. He's throwing the kitchen sink at a C add nines, and he's throwing different chords in there, different structures. He did jazz it up. Yes, he did borrow from the Beatles, the Who, the Sex Pistols, T-Rex, but at the same time, they made it their own. And yeah, I think they get a lot of stick, and I can understand totally why you guys might like them and why they get stick. But I have to defend them a little bit. I don't think they're as bad as everyone says they are. I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than what is there at face value, musically anyway, for me. But yeah, fair play. We got plenty of mileage out of that one, Marcus.
Yeah, yeah.
I just have to mention the Stone Roses as well. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean? They just fucking copied that to a point as well.
yeah.
The
Stone
whole-
Roses
yeah.
are a brilliant band.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They tried to, the Manchester whole, they
I think Kasabian did copied them as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
The style, that style.
Okay, is it on to me now?
On to you, Gav.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so my number one is Kiss.
Shawnee would be too happy with that, Rob.
No, you wouldn't be happy with that.
Sorry, Sean.
So bad. They're so bad. Like, they have 3-4 tracks, like, and even at that, they're not very good for me. I think the whole thing, the whole merchandise, the whole circus show that it is, I just don't get.
An
I know.
enterprise more than a band, isn't it?
Just, we talked about commercial bands, and they were ahead of the game, obviously, but it was all about money. It wasn't really music. They grew up in, was it Brooklyn, New York, and a couple of Jewish guys and a couple of whatever Catholic guys or whatever. But apart from that, it was just money, and it was fame, and it was chauvinistic, and it was, when you listen back to it, like, I just think it's like Detroit Rock City. It's just cheesy. I know that was the time as well. It was bad. It was terrible. And how people will, you'll come across certain fellas like that'll be like, "Oh, Kiss are the best band ever." I'm like, you okay? Did you fall? It's like, really, like, that's a bit of messing. But no, seriously, I don't see the hype. They're not even a decent band. They were a circus act, and they made a lot of money out of it. But they're more famous to me as a commercial act, as selling. They had a Kiss everything, Kiss, Monopoly, Kiss, everything, boots and makeup and Kiss my number one. I'll leave it at that. I did enough moaning.
Fair play, man.
I have to say, just on Kiss, I think you're right. They're overrated, but their 1970s albums, the riffs in there and some of the guitar work by Ace Frehley, probably deserves a mention. But I think they were very big in America. I think it was something that didn't really work in Europe, but it was huge in America at that time.
That's what I mean. Like it was so popular and massive and selling out arenas and touring the world and Japan especially. I think
Well,
there was
Japan, they were big, yeah.
but like kind of Japanese fans kind of jump on the American thing as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, just for me, I just think they were bang average, bang average.
Cool.
Can't complain.
Look, lads, Oasis were number one for me. You know, you know how I feel about them. So I'll throw in someone who's on my bench. Then that's fair.
Yeah.
So I have another band here, and it's just a band I never really got. And they're huge in America. They're huge in the. It seems to be all the Britpop or the kind of the indie scene that I'm picking from. It's probably because I'm a big metal or rock fan as well. But the Strokes, I just never got them. They're just not a band that really, like, when I listen to it, I just don't get it. It's a type of sound that's just, to me, it's just doesn't do much for me. Um, Now Oasis were ahead of them, so I'm going. I don't have much to go off here, but just trying to listen to some of the stuff recently, and I just don't get it. It's really overhyped. It's real. I'm a rock star, but I'm not really. I'm not trying, or I just don't get it. Like, if you're on a stage, you perform and you show off your ability. So yeah, that's my top one. Then if Oasis was knocked off the spot, it has to be the Strokes.
Very good. I actually reviewed their first album, Is This It, with Donal a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago, and it was posted there last week. And the title of the video was, right, so the album's called Is This It? And the title of the video is This Shit? Right?
Yeah.
Uh, and
Did Donald sign up to that?
Donal, no, he didn't. I made that thumbnail after the video was recorded. So Donald thinks they're not shit.
Okay.
I that first album's okay. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I was probably pressured into giving it a high mark because Donald was on the call. But after that, yeah, I don't really get after the first album, Eric. I have to agree with you. I think they're a very overrated band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, no offense, I know there's people out there that love them and they have an edge or whatever.
Hmm.
I just don't like their music. Just doesn't do anything for me. I think there's better indie rock bands out there.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed them, I have to say. I yeah, like they're not, they wouldn't blow you away or anything. They're just a decent band. I seen him. I thought I don't know if any of you seen him in Oxygen that year. I forget what year that
Seen
was.
04 and 06 they played Oxygen.
He was pissed.
Yeah.
It languid like proper. I thought they were decent enough live. But yeah, I enjoyed some of the tracks. They were kind of pop rocky kind of too. They were rich boys from Manhattan again. Probably
Yeah.
Daddy was funding the whole production and getting it out and that. But I have to say I enjoyed some of the tracks. I don't think are they rated that high though? Are they really? I don't know.
I mean, other bands that are in the same bracket as them, like, for example, like Arctic Monkeys. I think the Arctic Monkeys are much superior bands to
I
the
agree.
Strokes. Their, like, musicality is really good. They're great musicians.
Yeah.
Whereas the Strokes, it's like it's trying too hard to be not good or something. I don't know what it is. They're dumbing down what they can do, and they have this, like, rock star facade, but
Yeah, I know where you're
I
coming
don't
from.
care. I don't care. It's like, then get the fuck off stage, like, the next band, let the other band, next band jump up, like.
Yeah,
They're
maybe
trying
so.
harder. They're trying
Yeah,
harder to be
they're
cool.
trying
They're
hard
more
to be
interested in
cool.
that.
That's probably
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Probably agree with you. Yep.
Very good. Okay, so my number one, and it's been mentioned already, but I don't have anyone on the bench, Eric, so I'm gonna have to go with it. It's Coldplay.
Oh,
So yeah, I like the first album. I think it's a strong album. The second album has some great songs on it, some great songwriting in there. And then they just kind of fell off the map. The third album is lukewarm, and then they really changed their style. A little bit like Kings of Leon. They left their, I don't know what you call them, rock. Maybe they were like an indie band, but they left their roots and they went into like a mainstream direction. And now it's really Chris Martin's voice and then, you know, computer music behind it. A little bit like the 1975. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a great singer, and yeah, like he's a very talented musician, and they're a talented band. Like they can do it, but like they just seem happy to be, you know, making mediocre music, but playing all the big stadiums because it's generic music. It doesn't. I don't want to be insulting to anyone, but like if Coldplay is your favorite band and you think their latest album is the best music out there in the world, like you have a terrible taste in music. You need to, you know, pick up a guitar or try and learn an instrument, or, you know, try and improve your taste, because your taste is not good. You know, there's so much fantastic music out there in the world. And if this is what you're hanging your hat on, like, you know, even with modern acts, like there's pop acts that are writing better music and producing better music than Coldplay are, you know. And I think Coldplay are just kind of, they're doing it for the fame and notoriety and money. Obviously, you know, they want to be the biggest band in the world, and they want to be number one on Spotify. And, you know, just it seems like all sort of artistic creation, or what would you call it, respectability is gone. Like they're just selling themselves to, you know, the highest bidder. And I don't get it anymore. It's a shame. It's kind of a symptom of the music industry, to be honest, of where we are now, where we have been for the last 10 years. I think
it's all about safe music.
Safe music, yeah. Like the bridge has been removed from a song long ago. Like people don't play bridges anymore. People don't play real instruments in the main. You know, there's no guitar solos. There's no singing notes that are outside the scale. Everything is just so safe and generic at the moment. It's and that's what pop music is, and that's why so many of us turn away to alternative forms of music, you know, because we're just so sick of it. You really can't listen to the charts these days. So there we go. Okay, well, look, let us know in the comments below, guys, what your top 3 most overrated bands are. And if you disagree with us, and I'm sure there's many people out there who would disagree with our lists, let us know for sure. But keep it nice and civil and polite, just like we did. You know, we didn't swear too much in this video. So yeah, and if you like the video, hit the like button. I'm sure, Gav, you will share this on That Sound.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So make sure you subscribe to Gavin's channel, subscribe to my channel, and in the next few weeks, I'm sure Marcus and Eric will pop up with channels.
Too much effort.
Yeah.
You can piggyback on mine if you want. No problem.
Yeah, I'll leave it to you.
Great stuff. Okay, we will talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.
Yeah.
See you later.